Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest Garage Lore stream slash video. I am one half your tag team champion, Jeff. Joining me, as always, is the immaculate Chicago gentleman, Tim. And Tim, we're having a different type of stream today. We're playing Valheim, but we're doing also a discussion of our favorite things from the year 2022. We wanted to do this before January was over and it was like not
Yeah.
no longer relevant. So let's bring it on over. Meow.
So
Yeah,
rather
so we
than
had a few.
just instead of like
Go ahead.
doing like we've done in the past, it's very foggy in here. Um Instead of doing like a running Google Doc like we've done in the past with the like ranking of 80 songs, we decided we're just gonna have a chill Valheim stream while we do this.
Right. Because, we've had a few Valheim streams where it's like we're just sailing, we're just trying to set up a base camp or
Yeah.
something, and it's like, you know what, this is the type of stream where we can knock down a discussion on like 20 songs. Like we could have done like a regular podcast episode, but this gives us a chance to like do two things at once, I guess.
Yeah.
Let me
So with that
go ahead
being
and bring up
said,
that list.
yeah, decided to just have it separately on my phone just so I might be looking down on it occasionally.
Wow, I didn't mean, I'm trying to click back. I should just right click back into the window.
We
All
were
right,
just mentioning this.
before we get into the list here. Is there anything we should focus on for today's episode? Something chill that we can also talk over. You want to try to continue sailing, doing naked runs through the ocean, or wait, what are you thinking?
Right,
We
yeah,
still
we
have
were
the portal
gonna,
set up.
yeah. We did have, I had an end goal where we could set up a small little house or something. I didn't mean to mark that, but whatever. I'll delete that. So I'll just mark it on the map if you want to take a look. I don't know if it'll show up for, oh, right, you have to do the record the
Photography
table.
table.
Yeah,
I think I did.
I
Let
just
me get
recorded
that.
mine. But I
All
had a
right.
marker. This is kind of where I died. Because I think starting there seems to be like even like a base, a small forward operating base sort of thing, and just get things started, I guess.
Is it the one that says goal?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I
So
think there
you're
would be
thinking we
land.
can set up a base over there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the how that seems like a short enough distance where it's just land between there and the bone mass. So
Hmm.
take a look at that. Alternatively, I can start on some farming stuff, or I can always do that off stream too.
Say let's
Just set up a little
sail.
farm. Yeah.
I feel like if we set up a camp at that spot that you marked, that's a W for this episode.
Yeah. So
And then
I'm
once we're on the
doing that.
raft, I'll go ahead and start calling out some of the. Are you thinking like a naked run outside of building supplies?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think that's the play because
We yeah, we had a raft. Okay. I wasn't sure if we had one built already. I might have just built one like before we left and then that was the last thing we did.
did you all was I was I clowning on you for building it here rather than the other base?
Yeah,
I feel like I
that's right.
remember that.
You're like, why didn't you just build it there? I'm like, look, I just didn't cross my mind because I was here at the moment. Oh right, and I couldn't figure out a way to disassemble it either.
Oh, that's right. Let's see if we can figure that out today.
What is
I
in fog
grabbed
then?
some of the honey from the beehives, so if you need to just any type of food item.
I suppose I could just build a. I have the supplies to build a raft, and so it'd be no big deal if we left one here
Sure.
and then just build a new one there, since we can't.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, that works. We'll probably want a little more wood, but I'll just drop a... Oh, yeah, that's right, we had the other boat here. Alright, I've got a raft here.
At the second base.
Yeah, the swamp.
All right,
Yeah,
let me
right outside the portal. I'll head back to grab some...
yeah, I'm gonna drop off. You know, I still have the bronze weapons. I'm thinking let me drop those off so that if there are oopsies, I have not
Yeah.
lost my bronze weapons.
I might as well grab a little bit of food because I didn't have any. Or barely any. Oh, that's right. Honey uses the same slot as raspberries. Okay.
Do they use up the same slot? I think. Well, whatever. I'm not. I don't.
They're
I'm not
both
sure
yellow
if I know.
forks. I don't know. We haven't... I think we should at some point get some farming set up because we are lacking in decent food, I guess.
Yeah, we're running low on meat.
I haven't really looked into...
Oh yeah, we're not doing great with the meat situation
It's
right
just
now.
potions. I think there's something weird going on with our smoke. Wait, maybe it's fine. I don't know. I'm gonna head over there. Actually, I should probably grab some wood, more wood, while we're here.
There was a reason for us to bring a Surtling core over there, right? I can't remember why. The
Portal.
portal. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So, if you want to... That doesn't have storage, right? The raft?
No,
I don't think it's...
the regular
yeah,
boat.
It's just yeah.
And again, there's no
That's...
guarantee that this isn't going to be an immaculate run with no
Yeah.
oopsies.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna grab some more wood. Like, I'm okay if we lose a certain core because they're not the hardest thing to get.
Okay.
It just requires us to go to find a dungeon and find more.
How many does it take to build a portal?
Let's see.
Because we have 3 at a chest right now.
2.
Okay. I shall bring 2.
We should probably look at the other requirements. 10 Grey Dwarf Eyes and 20 Fine Wood. So, you don't have any fine wood, we'll need to get that.
Grey Dwarf Eyes. Oh, we've got a bunch of Grey Dwarf Eyes.
Yeah.
I'll bring the 10. If you might have to chop away for some fine wood.
I'll need to get my bronze axe for that. Well, it's getting dark.
You want to go to bed real quick before just to clear out the.
Yeah. And then I can start chopping away, getting a little bit of fine wood. I don't think we had any just sitting around.
Hey,
I'm exposed. We're already on 101 days. We've done nothing.
I suppose I can help with the chopping. How much fine wood?
I think it was only 20. I think one tree would be enough for it. I don't know. We'll find out. It's the birch trees.
First trees are the ones that are kind of white, right?
Yeah. There's just some wood sitting out here. That's just regular wood. All right, it's gonna take more than one tree because birch trees don't. They don't exclusively give you fine wood; they'll give you regular wood as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance you're not getting a normal mount.
I was chopping away at wood, and a boar just ran up to me and got while I was in mid-swing.
You knew the risk.
Yeah, the boar knew the risk when he signed up.
There's that guy minding his own business. I'm gonna go attack him. Oops, dead. All right, I got 20.
You got 20 already?
Yeah,
Dang.
it was like 2 trees.
Let me.
2 trees. I'm just shy of being full of weight. Drop off this axe, and then I'm probably good to go.
Yeah, I'll drop off the axe as well. Grab some honey if you need it. I've got a big stack of raspberries also. I can share with you if things get bad.
I think I've got everything I need. You had the gray dwarf eyes.
10 and 2 sortling cores, yeah. And just for good measure, I've got a 30 stack of wood for when the time comes when we make that base over there.
Alright. Let me drop my axe off. What's doing? Oh, I just had fine wood in my box. Of course.
Of course.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. Just hop on the raft. Do you want to set our save point here at this?
Yeah, let's do that.
There we go. Did you turn off the stove?
Oh no. punch the guy, not the fence. We didn't tag the other one. Oh well.
Okay.
Do we want to tag the other one? The other portal? I don't remember if that was tagged or not.
I think they'll stay linked by being untagged because they'd be the two untagged
Oh yeah, that's
portals.
right. Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's get going.
The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And on that note, that gives us a chance to discuss this list while things are kind of chill here.
Yeah.
Tim, we wanted to talk about some of our favorite things, games, movies, and TV shows from the year 2022. For games, you've got a hefty list here. Some of your nominations for the best game of 2022. Let me read them off for you, and maybe let me read them off one by one for you, and then you just give
Sure.
me a quick your quick thoughts. Vampire Survivors.
Great game that easily played in small chunks or long stretches if you want. But
I
it's
played a lot of Vampire Survivors also. Oh
yeah.
yeah, let me. I don't want to interrupt you here. Did you?
No, I was just gonna say yeah, I played a lot as well. It's definitely spawned a lot of. I mean, it wasn't 100% original in itself, but I've been playing a handful of other games that are similar that kind of came out.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like it brought like a semi new genre, which is pretty cool.
I like games. I think I have a deep appreciation for games that are immediately understandable,
Yeah, exactly.
especially for people who may not necessarily play games. Like if you hand
Yeah,
someone Tetris, they will look at it for a few seconds. They're like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Vampire Survivors is one of those games. Like
yeah,
you can be someone who's never played video games before, and you hand someone Vampire Survivors, or you give them control of Vampire Survivors, and it's like, just move. And then
yeah.
without ever having seen the game before, they would look at it like, "Oh, okay, I get what's going on here."
They might not know
So,
the specifics of how everything works, but that's like you'll get that as you're playing it anyway. And then there's plenty of things you're just gonna discover naturally just from playing it.
and something that I also liked about Vampire Survivors is, I think we mentioned this, or maybe I read about this somewhere. It has a very like casino type of like, here are these flashing numbers and sounds, and it's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, it's very much like designed to be like a casino game. I think the could have sworn somewhere that I read somewhere that the creator of it was worked on like casino games or something. Except they didn't want to make an actual gambling game of like with real gambling. So
We had the
it
wind on
takes
our
a lot
side
of
for a
like
brief moment here.
right, but they decided,
Uh,
hey, let's put those designs to good in something
mhm.
that's actually fun.
Did you get a chance to try out the DLC that came out recently? I played a bit of it recently.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I have not gone back to it really since. There's just been a handful of other games that I've been playing.
Did you ever, I don't want to linger too long on Vampire Survivors here, but did you ever get the thing where it's like, there is a way to beat death now. You got to get these four
Oh yeah,
items.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. That was fun.
yeah.
Yeah, Vampire
I
Survivors, great
remember
game.
early on. I remember it had that. It had similar. I like there's similar runs that you would see crop up online where people similar to like a speed run where people are like discovering ways to defeat death before there's a much easier way to do it now. But
Right,
like
I
I
saw
remember,
people try to get him stuck on stuff, right?
yeah, it was like, oh, if you go at this very specific pixel or whatever on this level, you can kill him.
You probably saw the one where it's like, you got to play the inlaid library and stand at this exact
Yeah,
spot. Yeah.
yeah,
All right, Vampire Survivors, I think you and I both agree. Great game. Strong
yeah,
contender for Game of the Year 2022. But on that
yeah,
note, let's talk about Elden Ring. And when I say, you're probably going to be talking about Elden Ring because I have not yet played Elden Ring.
yeah. Um, that one I knew I was going to be into, just from the pedigree and everything. I got into it at first on the PC, and then I kind of just gave up on the PC version because it just had, like early on, it just had really bad performance problems, like really bad, where it would hitch up for like upwards of 30 seconds of it at a time of just freezing the game, and then it would kick me to the main menu because it was just because it's an online game, so it's like, hey, your FPS is like not looking good, so we're gonna boot you from the server, sort of thing. So because of that, I decided to just buy the game again on PS5, where it actually ran better.
It,
And I played that kind of for a bit on there, and then
mhm.
somewhere around that time, I don't know, this was like spring or something. At this point, I got the Steam Deck, and instead of playing it on the Steam Deck, I that was when I got into Dark Souls 1 again. So that kind of kicked that off. But I've since
Strong
gone
con-
back to Elden Ring, like, and beaten it at least once, and then I've played a good chunk of it on a second or third playthrough already. So,
how many hours have you put into Elden Ring?
um, a few hundred split between PS5 and PC.
Okay. Strong contender. Strong
Yeah.
contender. I don't, I haven't played it yet, so I don't have my thoughts. Do you have anything else you want to call out with Elden Ring before we move on to your next call out here?
I think they did a lot of great stuff, but aside from like it being open world, definitely like adds a lot of variety to the gameplay, and then it makes it a lot more accessible because you can just, if you're running into a problem in it, like we've experienced in our randomizer runs of Dark Souls, like if we facing any tough area, we'll just go somewhere else. But like those games are much more constrained, so like you have very few options there. But in Elden Ring's case, you have like a good chunk of the game you could just go out elsewhere.
Okay. Moving on. I don't think this is going to win our game of the year, but it's still a fun game that was a good call out. Let's talk about Shredder's Revenge, which is kind of a love letter to those TMNT,
Yeah,
games of the past. And I had a lot of fun with it. We played it on stream, but like that's it did not it did not blow me away. It's like, yeah, this is a 2D beat 'em up TMNT. I think at that point I was playing a lot of I had gotten back into Streets of Rage 4. So it was like I would still pick Streets of Rage 4 over it's like it's different games, different mechanics, but it's
yeah,
it's hard not to do the comparison, you know what I mean? And I still enjoyed TMNT though.
yeah. For me, it was like beat 'em ups were always like I enjoyed them, but it was always like just a little bit of them. Like I wouldn't play a ton of them, and I would occasionally finish them, even though most beat 'em ups are relatively short. But this one, I think there was enough depth in like the actual like fighting mechanics that it held my interest through the full playthrough. And then us
We should
also
also
like co-oping it helped too.
Right. We should also call out that I enjoyed the music a lot in
Oh
TMNT
yeah,
Shredder's Revenge. There
yeah,
was some songs in there. I think we have like my reaction to some songs, hearing them for the first time. I'm like, oh snap, dude. I think Mutants Over Broadway. I still listen to that song like every once in a while. I'll bring it up. Great soundtrack, good game.
yeah.
Maybe not our. I'm just gonna call it. I doubt it'll win our game of the year. But let's talk about your next list on your list here, Tim. Let's talk about Neon White, one that you
Oh
played.
yeah.
I watched you play it. I have not personally played it.
That's a fun game. Like it like you were saying with like Vampire Survivors, this one like it kind of just part of the game is very much like it throws you in and you immediately know what you're like you know what you want to do. Like it's very you play it in a small bite-sized chunk of like a level could take like 30 seconds or whatever. But like part of the fun in that game is just kind of solving like how to beat it in faster and faster times. It's very much like a speedrunner game, but also like just very fun to just move around and play, and it's like one of the few games that I've played that does first-person platforming really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like the actual combat mechanics of it are actually not bad. Like it's definitely not like a it's not like a Doom or any other kind of first person shooter where it's like that's your primary focus, but it is like it's not just running. It's not like I guess there is some combat in like Mirror's Edge, but this one is a lot more variety in the movement and everything.
Mm-hmm. I also like it stylistically, just from watching
Yeah.
you play it. It's got like a very distinctive, like very different from the usual, art style.
Yeah.
You ever beat it?
It yeah. It does
Nice.
have like
Okay.
it has like a visual novel style story to it. And
Yeah, I
then
saw you like
its
you having the
rewards
chat
are
with
kind of like
NPCs.
yeah. And then as your reward for like uh completing or progressing through the various character relationships, it's like you just more levels to play through,
You
which was
see the
cool.
wind? I just want to call out the wind did like a complete 360 direction on
Right?
us. Any final thoughts on Neon White before we move on to your next game on this list?
Jeff, I think you should try it.
All right.
That but on like play it on PC with mouse and keyboard controls cuz like it's I mean, you could play it. It came out on the Switch as well, but like for that kind
Aiming
of
on
game, you're gonna
aiming on
want to,
analog stick, probably
yeah.
not quite precise.
For that speed of, it also doesn't feel like, even though it's fast, it doesn't like I never felt like it was difficult to make any shots I needed to make.
Okay. Well, you're just you've been playing one of those FPS trainer games, right? You're just
Oh,
quick
I'm not
snapshotting.
great at FPS games, and like this one, I was able to do everything just fine.
And let's talk about Tunic, which was earlier in 2022.
Yeah. Um.
I thought that was a bit. I have not played it, but I thought it was very visually charming.
Yeah. Um. That was a game like it. I think I played the demo of it like a few years ago, and it just seemed like it was described as like Zelda like a fox, or whatever is whatever nickname they gave it, and it sort of was that. The combat was like nothing to write home about. It was just kind of like it was good enough, I guess. But
Hmm.
like the thing you go to that game for is just the exploration for that game, and I think it did a way better job of just exploration than like a 2D Zelda game does. And I think part of that is also like the the game's the game's manual system, where like you're finding pieces to like a game manual, and that kind of just reveals like game mechanics and various secrets and stuff of like as if it's a player's writing down like additional notes in the manual, and then there's various things hidden in the manual that lead you to whatever. So it's like
Hmm.
a really fun experience of just exploration for that game.
Yeah. And I remember I think either you told me about it on a podcast episode, or I eventually looked up those manuals and how they kind of look like old video game manuals, right?
Yeah,
I like that.
it reminds me of like those old Zelda, like an old Zelda manual or like an old Mario manual or whatever, because it's similar art style and everything. And I
Any
think they
final thoughts
even
on Tunic?
one thing I wish they did was if they ever do like I don't know if they did do a physical release of it, but they sent out like physical copies of the manual to the press, I guess. But I wish that's
Hmm.
something they actually would sell, maybe like as merch or something, because it's really neat. Those things, great.
Tell me
Or
about.
it's the
Oh,
wind, or against the wind, of course.
of course. Tim, let's talk about Infernax, a game I'd like to revisit at some point since I did start
Oh
a
yeah,
run on there. But I remember it, that was like one of our earliest streams, and I remember thinking it
yeah,
was really cool.
yeah. That one,
As someone who loves Castlevania games, I was like immediately into Infernax.
yeah, yeah. Like, I hadn't played a ton of Castlevania games. I played a lot of Metroidvania games, I guess. But that one, I think I just found it from like watching a stream or something, and then decided to try it out because I think it was on Game Pass at the time. I don't know if it still is. And yeah, it was like a short enough game with enough. It was very much like I think we experimented with something on a stream where some decision we made had some consequence of
Yep.
like both character consequences, but also like it affected like some of the level, like the level design or whatever. Like it changes the
I
world
love
too, so that was pretty cool.
I love the idea of that type of game giving you these choices where, and this is, hey, spoilers. Any of the games we talk about here might have
Yeah,
spoilers. Sorry that we're like into this already, but yeah, spoiler warning. But I like the fact that there's things like you fight the first boss and you can immediately turn around and go back to the boat,
yeah,
and there you go. That's an ending. You just got the
yeah.
coward ending.
All the alternate ending stuff was cool. I, yeah, as I was saying, like I like the when a game has uh, consequences to your choices that affect more than just like character dialogue, where it's like it changes the levels or whatever, or maybe
I think on
suddenly if
stream,
yeah, I think on stream I decided to what was it, like release a dam or lower it, break a dam, I
yep.
forget, something like that, and that just flooded a town or whatever.
You want to stray a bit from the land a bit here because I remember you getting
Yeah,
got by guys that saw you, and then
yeah,
they just swam out to you. I also remember like there was one NPC that was like, "Hey, there's a bunch of vagabonds outside. Can you just tell them to shoo?" I'm like, "All right,
yeah,
that's fine." Like, "Hey, have a drink with us." I'm like, "All right, that's fine." I was like, "Nope, that was not the right choice."
yeah,
Uh, Infernax, strong game. I
yeah,
enjoyed that quite. I'd like to play more of that on stream at some point. Tough case for game of the year though, with some of the games we have on here, like Cult of the Lamb, which I think we both enjoyed.
yeah. That's one of those games where I think the cult portion and the actual dungeon portion were I feel like it kind of ran out of steam at a certain point. Like I feel like
Once you
it
do
was
the game
lacking.
loop a bunch of times, you're like, ah, I get it.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like there wasn't enough depth to either side of it, but it was still like it was a cool mix of combining those two, and I would like to see them either expand on it, either in like further updates or DLC or whatever. But like what I played of it, I enjoyed,
I
even
like
though I
that
never finished it.
those two elements pace the game well in like, okay,
Yeah,
I don't really want to do any more dungeon stuff, but this instead of doing that, here we go. Here's a chance for me to do cult stuff. And then when you get, whoa, what is that?
that's a fish.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, why is it? I thought it was something weird and glowing blue in the ocean.
Once you get tired of the cult stuff, it's like, okay, it's time for me to do a dungeon now.
Yeah,
And the
and
combat,
those,
I enjoyed the combat too.
yeah,
So Cult of the Lamb, strong game. Strong
yeah,
game in 2022. Tough case for game of the year though.
yeah.
Here's a game where we streamed it and I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but it seemed like there was a lot of depth to it. And I know that this has a strong following. Tell me about Total War Warhammer 3, Tim.
Um, so this was one of those games where, um, so it's a total war game,
Uh-huh.
total war game, which has been a long running series for, I don't know, 25 plus years or whatever. And this one was kind of like, I think this is kind of their peak, at least right now. I mean, who knows if they get better. But this one was like a fulfillment of a promise that they made early on when they announced like the first game of the Warhammer trilogy, where they meant they said early on they were going to make three separate games that were going to ultimately combine into a single like playable mode with all the content of all three games, which is a lot because these games like individually you can get a lot out of them. But then they decided, hey, let's combine it all into one. And so it's we're just stuck here, and there's a troll over there. Oh, we're on a rock. But yeah, it. I think part of what it made that game more interesting than like previous Total War games is that
Mhm.
all the previous Total War games were just like historical based, and they were all based on like, just real human factions and real human history, and a lot of the factions felt similar with just some slight variance. Like for example, you could have like, I don't know, a medieval Total War where you had the French versus the British, and they were just like only slightly different flavors or whatever. But in this, like, because they had different fantasy factions, they actually felt a lot different. So
Mhm.
there was just a ton of variety and a ton of depth in the actual gameplay and mechanics of the game that I ended up playing a lot of it. So
I
it's definitely
remember
one of my favorite of the series.
if you're ever curious about polar bears versus zombies, that's the stream to go back to, friends.
Yeah, that
I remember
that
trying to make
it
a
does
YouTube short of that, and I was like, there's no way to encapsulate this fight in just 1 minute. There's too
right.
much going on.
It's very much like you could do like what is that game called? Like Totally Accurate Battle Simulator or something like that.
Mhm.
There's some game like I think that's the name of it, where it's just like you just drop in a handful of units, and they just fight each other. Like you could do that with that game if you wanted to, which is what we did on that stream.
Here's a really strong contender for Game of the Year because I have not played it, but I know you speak highly of it, and I've had friends speak highly of it. Tell me about God of War Ragnarok, Tim.
Um, I think it was a strong like closing to the Norse series of the God of War games, which I thought were these two were pretty good.
This is getting into spoiler territory, but does it feel like the closing of that saga? I thought they were going to
Yeah,
make the kid the new person.
I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know. Like they could do a spin-off. They could, whatever continuation. Um, but it like if you played the previous one, the 2018 one, this is they this feels like you're getting more of that game, which is kind of what you would expect from a sequel. But it doesn't. But they still keep it fresh, and like they've made the combat feel better, and even added a new weapon that was actually, in my opinion, like a really cool design. That's kind of a little spoilery. I don't want to mention that or anything, but it
I
was a pretty
mean,
cool design.
I gave the spoiler warning a while ago. If you want to talk about spoilers, that's fine by me.
All right, Jeff.
Uh-huh.
I I haven't played any of the previous. Haven't played the previous God of Wars in a while, so I don't remember how interesting the weapon designs were in those games. But this one had the axe, which was basically the same. They had the blades, which were the same on the chain or whatever, and then they added a spear
Mhm.
that you could basically throw it, and you would just spawn a new spear every time you would throw it.
I think I saw
And there
some of
were
this, yeah.
yeah, and there were lore reasons behind it,
Uh-huh.
which were I thought were really clever because it was like combining real like Norse mythology with that weapon. And then it was also just a really fun weapon to use because you could just spam throwing these spears at guys, and then they would explode.
So
But it also
again,
like it made the different like I think in the previous God of War, using the switching between weapons like it I wouldn't do it all that often unless I absolutely had to. But in this one, it felt like it was fun to just switch between the different weapons, and they actually had enough variety and gameplay to warrant switching.
let me ask you, Tim, because as someone who has not played, I heard this criticism from a couple different people. Were there too many segments where you had to play the kid?
Um,
Or was there too many extended periods where you had to play the kid?
yeah, there were definitely that extended segments, but they didn't feel like, at least from, I didn't think they were bad or anything. It was kind of giving you a chance to explore the kid without having Kratos around as like your point of view or whatever. So it wasn't like this kid attached to Kratos the whole time. So you could see a little bit of a different side of it, of the characters.
If you were curious, Tim, I got the hammer out. We're about like 80% of the Raft's health. So we're taking some hits here, but it's still looking all right.
It's good.
Any final thoughts of God of War Ragnarok before we move on to strong contender?
Um,
Like from what I've seen, this is going to be a strong contender
yeah,
for our game of the year.
I think they did a really good. They handled a lot of the story stuff really well. Um, I just wish they toned down some of the tutorial VO stuff for like puzzle solving and stuff, because some of that was like I know it was definitely memed a lot online with where people are like, oh, they your companions just don't shut up. But I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was more than I would have liked.
Um, it's not Saturday, but you want to talk about Dwarf Fortress?
Um, sure. I mean this game came out 2006, 2002. I don't remember, something like that. So it's been out for a long time. But this last year, yeah, last year 2022, they decided to actually they decided to put out a Steam version, and the reason they just this is developed by or the original game is developed by two people, two brothers, but they were running into just financial problems because they were only working off of donations and whatnot. So they're like, hey, we need actual income to cover our own personal expenses and all that. So anyway, they decided to release a Steam version of it, an actual paid version of it instead of just free. And I'd played the original game here and there over the years, but it was not enough to fully grab me. And I think part of it was just trying to navigate that game with only using mouse and only using keyboard. Actually, it was just kind of difficult because it would be like I don't know 5 or 6 key presses just to do something very simple and basic in the game. But this version they added a ton that by adding mouse and keyboard support or full mouse support and actual visuals, it actually really enhanced the playability of it. But that's a game that's just like described as like a storytelling game. It's just a sandbox that simulates a world.
Mm-hmm.
And after that stream I did on Saturday, I took a
Mm-hmm.
break, had dinner, and then I decided I'm going to start another world just to play off on my own. And then I played all night, and
Oh
then
man.
all that whole weekend. And Jeff,
What's the hook? What's the hook for you? What's
oh,
what's
there's
the
just
thing
so
that keeps
much. There's. Let me tell you a story, Jeff.
Oh no.
So I started on a new world in that.
hmm
I started with about 7 dwarves. I think it's the default. I built up a little fortress, getting a little bit of things going. And then I had a few more people join. I think I had maybe 15 or so at one point. And then I decided, all right, I'm going to build a tavern. And that's like a dedicated area with like tables and chairs and food and all that. And then it allows visitors to come. I'm like, okay, I've got this thing. And then at some point, some random like elf shows up. They're like, hey, I'm a dancer. I want to entertain your dwarves. Can I visit? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then a little bit later, another person shows up. That guy is still there.
Uh-huh.
Another person says, I'm a bard. I want to entertain. I'm like, all right, sure. This keeps happening, Jeff. I'm now to. It happens so much. I am now at 180 people in my fortress, and most of them are entertainers just hanging out in this tavern. And then at some point, throughout all this, some random person dies, and it's
Uh-huh.
like their body's been drained of blood. I'm like,
Oh no.
okay, and the game doesn't tell you specifics of how that happened or where it happened. They're just showing like, here's the corpse.
Uh-oh, we're being followed here.
By what? Oh, leech.
Uh, I don't have a weapon on me.
Might be fine. Oh, we're heading the right way anyway, so we're getting here.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
take a
so
quick- Uh-huh.
I this happens. I lose a guy. Their body's drained. I'm like, all right, it was probably one of these visitors. Whatever. I ignore it. I keep going on, carry on, whatever. It happens again. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll ignore it. I got so many people that are replacing these guys. It's fine. And then at some point, I'm like completely unrelated. I have some traders, a merchant show up. I'm like, hey, why don't you can make requests to the merchants for them to show up with items on their future visits. And I'm like, I need some livestock. I want you to bring me some roosters. And then I'm going to build a little pit and put some roosters in it.
Oh, we are at like 25% health for the
This
rest,
is not
though.
going well.
Yep.
Go away. I don't think we're going to make this, Jeff. Yeah,
It was a good run.
it was a good attempt.
We made it, and we made it quite a ways.
Yeah, I think I just was a little too close to that. That's fine.
Yep.
So I decided to set up a little rooster fight ring.
Uh-huh.
Or that's what I was gonna do. That was my intention. So I'm like, okay, I'll do this. I'll set up some cages of roosters. And then I'm discovered, oh hey, I can designate an area as a dungeon. And that requires having a dedicated person to handle dungeons and government and justice system and stuff. I'm like, okay,
Oh, hey, we have
I've
2 more Surtling cores over on the other base. We can make this attempt again.
left that.
Yes.
We don't have any other tools though. We should probably get that.
I'm gonna
All
bring
right,
a bow
I'll
and
just head
arrow.
back. Good idea. I'm gonna head back home. So anyway, I discovered there's a criminal justice system. So I'm like, okay, I'll have a guy who's dedicated as a captain of the guard or whatever. They can interrogate people. Where it's just like you just set up a little interview. They interview various people, and then they discover that like, oh hey, you've got a vampire in your among your crew. So I just throw that guy in the prison, and now I've got a couple vampires just hanging out in a dungeon that have been draining various people. But yeah, that game
Vampires.
is that game is just like there's so many weird things that can just happen, and the game is not it's not very gamified either. Like it just things are just simulated in a world, and sometimes things happen like that. Okay, we have
Before we move on to the next game, let's get ourselves set up for this second attempt.
yeah. I'm gonna grab another guy to any equipment on me, so I'm gonna.
What was it to make arrows? I have 7 on me. I think the play when we're being followed by leeches is to go with the wind and hope we shake them.
Yeah, I guess we could do that. Because I was kind of going against it. Would have
You
required
hoped that the
turn around.
teachings of Bob Seger would get us through that.
But yeah, that's gonna be one of those forever games for me where I just can always just jump into it and play it.
Oh, there's 10 more arrows, and if you want some arrows for yourself, there's a 10 stack in here.
Take it.
Are you bringing a bow?
No, I'm just gonna build
All right,
a
I shall
raft,
bring.
but I'm gonna need some supplies for a raft. I'll just grab because I need to get more fine wood. Oh wait, no, I had some,
Oh,
but I
this
need
is
to
not
get some
this is
wood.
not an arrow. Sorry.
What else do I need? I want a hammer. So we lost the Surtling core, but we had that at the base. Got the Grey Dwarf eyes. Got the wood. But I want to get more wood so we can just build something immediately.
It's possible we'll pick up our stuff over there.
That's true.
Not easy,
But
but
I don't want to rely on that though. Like if it happens, it happens. But I guess with you with your bow, you'll be able to shoot him down or something.
I only got wood arrows though, so I'm worried about my damage output with just wood arrows. I don't think we have enough flint right now to make flint head arrows.
It should be fine for lake leeches. Because I don't remember having any problem with killing leeches with just the regular bow and regular arrows. What do I need for... Oh, I got it. And stone axe, I need 5 wood. That tree's freaking out.
We're powering through this list discussion though.
Yeah,
Just us sailing gives us this chance.
yeah.
Or that
All right.
leech. Things were pretty all right during that run.
Yeah, there's like nothing.
Like I'm impressed that we made it that far without, someone seeing us from the shoreline or anything like that.
Yeah, we passed the troll and I thought for sure they would come at us, but they're fine.
Does the troll come at us or does it throw rocks or something? Because I was like, it throws
You can do
rocks,
either
right?
or.
Okay.
Either or. I've had one run up to me while I was on a boat.
Actually, if I'm looking at this correctly, if I'm looking at where we died, if we had gone a bit more south, maybe we could have swam toward
Yeah,
land.
that's what I was thinking. I think that's what happened. We were just a little too close to that little island, that land there, and that attracted the leeches, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go too far out into the ocean to avoid, because I
Well, yeah,
wanted to
that that
avoid
that that brings up a
the
different type of
serpents.
oopsie we could. Yep.
Yeah. So we need to build a raft. What do we need? Do we have any leather scraps at the base? I don't know if you happen to be there or not.
I'm at the ocean side. Leather scraps, though. How many do you need? Because there's a 10 stack here.
Okay, that should be good. Need
You want me to
10 of
bring it
that.
over to? Oh, okay, I'll take 10.
We'll need, or we don't need 10, but need
How many?
6 leather scraps, 6 resin, and then 20 wood for a raft.
6 leather scraps. 6 resin. Do you have wood? Because I need the wood I have to make arrows.
Oh, yeah, I got wood.
All right.
Let's make myself a stone axe. I think I'm good to get going.
All right. Let me meet you over at the summer residence.
Is that what we're calling?
Anything that's not the home base is a summer residence.
In the swamps?
Of course. Let me give you these scraps and oh, there's a dude
Where?
over at the summer residence.
Oh. Yeah.
I
They
shall
do that.
take the Sortling
Oh, I
cores.
should grab some honey.
What else did we need for portal? Because I only got Sortling cores at the moment.
10 great ore
Oh, the
fives
Grey
and
Dwarf eyes.
25.
That's right. Let me get the
I've
Grey
got
Dwarf
those.
eyes.
I've got
Oh,
everything
okay.
else.
Okay.
I think you've got... Yeah, it's just the Surtling cord that I need. Might as well repair everything, and then I'm good to go. Or I'll just drop off my bronze axe or whatever.
Oh, not just me about to set off without bringing the bow. Hold on.
Yeah,
I got the arrows, fam.
good.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Are arrows just made from wood, or do you need anything else?
Yeah, wood arrows, but you can make flint head arrows, which I imagine are more powerful.
Yeah. Wood
But
is just... Oh, it's just wood. Okay.
we got what we got.
You do a fully charged shot. I don't know where I got a P from. Fully charged shot.
We've been doing a lot of talking this stream. It's
Yeah.
taking its toll on you.
I don't need a bow. You had the other stuff like leather scraps and all that, right? So
Scraps and whatever
resin.
the other thing was. Resin, yes. You want me to just hand them to you? Oh, you left already.
I'm already
Okay.
That's fine. You can hand off once you get there.
All right. Come over here. Here is the resin. Here is the scraps.
Just drop this in the house.
I think 27 arrows is enough.
Make as much as you want. I can just grab some more wood while we're here. And we should probably just rest while we're... Because it
Yeah.
is dark.
There is a bird that just clipped through our house and continued flying. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Was it in the house?
Yes, it was. It flew through the house. Majestic.
Oh, I got some resin.
Hmm.
All right, Jeff, let's continue this list.
You don't wanna wait for the ref? We're just gonna dive right back into it?
Did we want to just save it for rafting?
Yeah, that's when nothing's going on.
All right.
Unless you're gonna commit to some shopping here.
No.
I like the ambiance of us talking to the ocean. Talking over the ocean.
Good. As far as getting stuff. So I'll just
Yeah.
rest.
Okay, I got more arrows. You know, it's like when we're in a long road trip and we play I Spy. You know what I mean? That's this list.
The ocean is smashing our raft.
All right, I got the 2 Surtling cores. You got everything we need for the
Yep.
everything else for the portal? Like,
Yep.
I think the most, I don't want to get there and be like, oh, we're missing this one thing for a portal. So I got the Surtling cores. You got everything else?
For portal, yep.
I do not have a hammer on me right now, so I can't check the health of the boat or the raft. Are you cool with?
Yeah,
I mean,
could
it
do
wasn't.
I guess.
All right. Cowabunga it is. Adventure awaits.
As is
Tim.
tradition, into the wind.
Yep. Into the wind. I wouldn't want it any other way. Tim, here's a game that I enjoyed very much, and it's a game that I think did a lot of good quality of life improvements for its series, but I think it's not going to win our game of the year for reasons I think you and I will both agree on. Let's talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
Let's talk. A lot of great quality of life improvements. A lot
Yes.
of
Yeah,
in terms
definitely.
of movement around the world, in terms of, hey, you don't need to, waste an HM on your Pokemon to do this thing because you have this motorcycle Pokemon that will do this, and if you want to fly to another part of the map, you can just do this. That being said, like I skipped a few main entry Pokemon games, so maybe this is stuff
Yeah.
that got introduced a while back, but it was amazing for me. It was amazing stuff for me to see. And I think there was one point where I was like, I went to a Pokemon Center. Like, let me deposit some of my Pokemon into the computer or the box or whatever. Couldn't find the computer or the box. Like, where is this? Imagine my surprise. It's just in the pause menu now. You
Right?
open up this menu
Yeah, I
and
don't think
just,
that was in any of the previous games either.
I think there's one. I love the exploration of how the game doesn't tell you, like, hey, this is the first gym. It's like, hey, you
Yeah.
figure it out. You figure out
Yeah.
what the first gym is. And I think there was one point where I got an EV, and you know me, Tim.
That was the weird thing to me, just finding an Eevee. And
Yeah,
then also finding a Jolteon or whatever. It's just like out in the wild. So unusual for us.
I found one EV, and I'm like, I just want a Glaceon. I'm not here
Yeah.
for none of these other Pokemon. And I looked it up, like to get an Ice Stone, it's like way up to the north. So I just did a run. I did a Dark Souls Ultra Instinct run where I'm like riding my motorcycle Pokemon, and like there's an angry Scyther way above my level chasing after me. I love the Titan battles. a lot of great stuff about that game. Performance is brutal. The
Yeah,
performance of that game is brutal. And, I never saw any of the egregious bugs that people were talking about that, I think some of the tweets and memes
it
of the
didn't
bugs in
have.
that game,
Yeah,
it made the game seem worse than it actually was. The
yeah,
the game is ultimately still enjoyable. Just, people memeing the bugs, that's whatever. I still like that. I still love that game. I don't think it's a game of the year just because of some of the perf, and maybe they'll fix it. It's been a while since I hopped on. Maybe they patched it at some point, but I still need to beat it also. How did
yeah.
you
I'm
eventually?
not far. I'm not far.
Okay.
I think I finished all the badges, and that was less than I did. But it did. There was still a lot of it that just felt like just normal Pokemon. So it just aspects of it felt very samey.
I got to a point where I got a Glaceon and I got a Ceruledge, and I'm like, I think I got what I needed. I think I'm good. I'm like, I should finish all the Titans. I should finish all the badges. So I should. That's where I'm at. Like, I got my Glaceon. I'm like, I'm good. I got what I needed.
There was a point where it's like when I started actually powering through everything, where I decided I'm gonna just try to fill up this Pokedex. We'll see what happens. And I got a good chunk of it. I don't know if I'll ever finish it, the Pokedex, but it was a thing to do while I played the game, and
Whoa, there's a Pokemon that jumped at us just
it
now.
was a pufferfish.
Uh, now's a chance for me to show my stuff with this bow and arrow. Oh, maybe it just left. It just left. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. All right then. Any final thoughts on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet before we? Which starter did you choose, Tim?
Um, is it Fuecoco? Is that his name? The
That's the
fire,
wrong choice.
the fire one.
Quaxley Bros, rise up.
I don't know. I didn't care for the final forms of any of
Yeah, I
them.
kept my Quaxley as a Quaxley.
It's it's rare for me to keep a starter Pokemon by the end of the game.
I'm kind of the opposite. I grew up watching the anime, so it's like you got to have your starter through the entire journey. Like I think maybe there was maybe one game where I didn't keep the starter because I didn't like any three of them. But it's you got to have that Ash type of bonding journey with your starter. Anyway, I'm not familiar with this game, so this is on you, Tim. Soulstone Survivors.
This one, it's like Vampire Survivors, Jeff,
Uh-huh.
but 3D.
Uh-huh.
It also runs better, actually. Even I mean, like Vampire Survivors doesn't necessarily run poorly or anything, but like this game actually runs a lot better than Vampire Survivors when you get to like the later stage of the game where it's a lot more chaotic. And in the case of this game, it's a lot more involved. Like you are still only moving, but you're also aiming the direction for some of your abilities. And in the case of like Vampire Survivors, all the passive stuff you get, like not the main weapons, but the other bottom ones. In this one, there's no limit for those, so you can just keep getting a variety of stuff that change up and further upgrade everything. But it's also like a lot of the enemies, like they have bosses in the game where they spawn after defeating so many normal enemies or whatever, and they spawn bosses, and then it's like you have to kill those bosses before further progressing and actually finishing a run. So it's much more focused on boss fights, and the boss fights are still like just dodging around and just firing off all your weapons without like automatically firing everything. So it's a lot more active than Vampire Survivors.
Hmm.
Um,
It's I'll need to look up gameplay of that.
yeah,
I
might do a stream of that
remember
at some point.
I remember at some point I was talking about how our stream of Vampire Survivors, the later game footage ended up looking scuffed because there was so much stuff on
Yeah,
screen. And I'm like, we should look into this. And you're like, no, it's probably the game. It's probably a lot of streams look like that. And I looked
yeah.
it up, like, yeah, a lot of people seem like that game's still amazingly fun, but like when you get into that latter half where there's a
This one it
bunch of stuff
doesn't.
happening on screen.
I think I did run into a problem with it because it is 3D. The effects were just covering the screen, but fortunately they have a thing where it's just like adjust the transparency of the the weapon effects and stuff like that. So like I can actually play the game instead of just having the entire screen covered in particle effects and stuff. So it's fully playable.
And this
But
was
yeah,
a
I've
game,
been playing that a lot lately actually. So that's just
Soulstone.
yeah, it's just been like my lunch break game basically, where I just play a run or two and then hop off.
Tell me about triangle strategy, Tim.
Um, it's a tactics RPG. It feels like there's less RPG elements than I would like. It's also like very heavy on story, and it was like a game that I mostly played just in like hour, 2 hour chunks or whatever. I still haven't beaten it. I think part of that is just like the story kind of just they break up every chapter into like a large story chunk of just cutscenes or whatever, and it's all done in like that same. The whole game is done in that art style that 2D 3D style that Octopath Traveler had. If you're familiar with that game, where it's like 2D sprites in like a diorama looking environment, and the gameplay was fine. It was just there's just too much story. I think that was it was broken up. Just how it was broken up was just I don't know, it dragged on or something. So I never actually finished it, and I don't know if I'll ever. I don't know if I'll get back to it or not. I'm not sure.
This next game, I was looking at the store page of this game recently, Symphony of War. I was wondering, like, is this something I'd be into? Tell me about Symphony of War, Tim.
This one I actually also didn't finish, but it's tactics strategy RPG. It's like I guess it's similar, a lot closer to like the Ogre Battle series or like Fire Emblem games. Actually, it's like a
Hmm.
weird. It's like a mixture of the two. Where like every mission would play out in like a large battlefield square map or grid or whatever, and you would capture various buildings or whatever, and then you would send it. You would have like various squads that were be represented as a single character on the battlefield, and then you would just fight it similar to like Fire Emblem. And I actually really liked it, but I just never ended up finishing it. But it was definitely one that I should go back into and finish at some point.
Let's not get too close to land here.
It's looking
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
This is not the one we were running to, but yeah, it's further south.
Tim, you and I have played a lot of Vermintide, but
Uh
I
huh.
have not yet dived into Darktide, Warhammer 40K Darktide. Have you been enjoying it?
I played a little bit of it when it first came out, and I haven't returned to it. I think this is going to be like Vermintide, where that game just kind of evolved over time, just because the developer just keeps putting out updates and whatnot, and like additional content and stuff. So like right now, I just don't want to play it until it's like further developed more. But it's got a decent like foundation right now. It just needs a little more
When you
content, I think.
say, okay, so you're waiting for more spicy content, is what it boils down
Yeah,
to. Fair enough. Now, Tim, you and I play a lot of Monster Hunter World. Tell me
Mhm.
about Monster Hunter Rise. Tell me about your doggo in Monster Hunter Rise.
Um, I didn't think this one would be like a big improvement or anything for Monster Hunter World because it looked like it was going back to a lot of the similar stuff of like the older Monster Hunter games,
Uh-huh.
and it does to some degree. Like the actual levels are slightly smaller, and there's definitely like less detail in the like visuals and everything. But like they improved the movement of everything. They added a thing called the wire bug, and that's just like it's just on a cooldown, and you have like a few charges by default, and you can just use that to like grapple, pluck, or Spider-Man swing or whatever around, and it's just it it made the game even more fluid and a lot faster pace for like the movement and everything. And then you can also there's also the dog that is in addition to your palico, so you have a dog that you can fight with that also acts as like a mount too. They
Oh,
so it they do a lot of like it's a lot of quality of life improvements.
okay. So the dog helps with general like traversing, getting to
Yeah.
where you need to get to.
It
Okay.
also like it's a mount that you can actually jump with and run up walls and stuff with. And they also changed. They made the. There's a lot of like quality of life improvements. Like I think I mentioned in our when we've been playing Monster Hunter World in our streams that like gathering in that game is you press the button as you
Hmm.
pass by it and it does the action like in one quick animation and it's done. You're not sitting there for like 10 seconds or whatever.
Right.
And so you can do everything in passing. And then all the there's a lot of like passive stamina and health upgrades that you can get just from like picking up stuff along in the level that are always present. So you can just have like a temporary boost to your health and stamina without worrying about like using like a health like max health potion or something like that or a ration or whatever. So it's just stuff
Okay.
you're coming across as you're running around the level.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Is
And it
there
actually runs really well. Like it supposedly ran really well. It ran at like 60 FPS on the Switch, which was
I was about to
surprising.
ask, like, wasn't that Switch exclusive for a bit before it
Yeah,
became PC? Yeah.
and then it came out last year on the PC, and then it just
Ah, okay.
I think it just came out as well on like Xbox and PlayStation, and then is on Game Pass now, I believe. That might have just happened, or it's going to be coming out shortly, if not already.
Do you like the areas of Rise more so than World, Iceborne?
Um, I don't know. It's there's definitely like a variety of them. I don't know.
Alright.
Didn't similar number of variety of places, but not necessarily more. I don't like them more or less or anything. It's just different, you know.
Tell me about Metal Hellsinger, Tim. I just recently found out about this. It's like a rhythm bass, right?
Yeah. Um. So that is it's similar to like Doom, where it's like you're in these combat arena like first person shooter thing,
Uh-huh.
but it also has a rhythm element where the music kind of like amplifies what you're doing, and if you're following the rhythm, but if you're not, it doesn't. It's similar to like this the health system in this game where like you're rewarded for eating food versus
Uh-huh.
like other survival games where like you need to eat food otherwise you're dead. So in the case of like Vampire Survivors, like if you're not following the rhythm, you're just playing a first person shooter with music playing, with that music playing or whatever. But if you're actually following the rhythm, it enhances the actual. You're getting better score. You're like dealing more damage and stuff. So it actually does it really well, I think. There's another game that was sort of similar called BPM. I think it was stood for bullets
Now
per
that's
minute or
that's a
something.
game I was watching footage of earlier. Yeah, that looked like a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that, and that one, it felt like it penalized you for not following the rhythm. So, like, I think your gun would lock up if you did not land your shot on the beat or something. Where Metal Hellsinger, you don't have that problem. So, like, it doesn't kill your flow if you just miss if you're offbeat. This one I didn't finish, but it's something I want to get back to at some point. But I enjoyed my time with it.
Tim, this is not a game that came out in 2022, but we did play quite a bit of it. Let's talk about Hitman, the game of the year every year.
Jeff, I didn't play a ton of this game originally.
When it first came out. It's one
Yeah,
of those games where I watched a lot of other people playing a
yeah,
game
yeah,
before I
same.
got into the game.
I think part of it is like it just seems intimidating, and even like when we're streaming it, like even just first jumping into a level, it's just like even levels we've done already. It's like I don't know where to go or what I want to do this run. But once I'm in the run already in the middle of a run, it's like yeah, I'm just going with the flow of whatever I'm doing. But like getting started, it's like it seems a little intimidating.
I think, this game can't win our 2022 game of the year, but we can still give it its flowers in that it
Yeah,
is the only one of its type where it's like a sandbox game of it. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, hey, here's your targets. We won't tell you how to do. You can follow these leads, like these suggestions of how you can get these targets, but also here's a bunch of toys at your disposal.
yep,
Here's a bunch of environmental stuff at your disposal. If you don't want to follow these leads, you can figure it out yourself, and that's perfectly okay.
yeah.
God,
It's also like one of the best comedy games out there without
of course.
overtly being a comedy game. Like it's got an it plays it straight, but it knows it's a comedy. Like it's
Yep.
comedic, but it doesn't it plays it straight really well.
The cutscenes with Agent 47 being like super serious, but then, hey, here's a clown outfit for him. You want to dress him like
Yep.
a clown? That's fine. Like
Yep.
there's we had that one stream where he spawns in and just comes up behind a guy like the Undertaker wearing the clown
Yep.
outfit. The devs know exactly what type of game they have, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Game of the year every year, as far as I'm
And
concerned.
they they announced some like change to it where they're kind of I'm not
Yeah, what
entirely
was
sure
that?
what their what the end result is, but it's like they're combining it all into a single package, which it kind of already is. But I think
Yeah,
it's
the
going to be
Hitman
a little
trilogy kind of
easier.
does.
Yeah, I think they're even when I was picking up Hitman 3, I wasn't sure what I needed because I already had 1 and 2, but I wasn't sure if I needed anything else to get everything in one game. So I think they're making it easier.
Was that
And
Hitman
then
Freelance or something?
no, that's its own new thing.
Oh, okay.
But that was like the world of assassination that they're calling it. But then there's the freelance thing, which they had like a few like beta and alpha and whatever phases that they did, like weekends or whatever, that I dipped into very briefly, but I didn't fully experiment with it. And that's the freelancer mode, which is like, as I understand it, it's like a roguelike thing where you go through multiple missions in a row until you fail one, and you just like the further you progress along in the number of missions, the more stuff you unlock for your starting runs. So kind of like how the mastery system in the game, you get new weapons and stuff that you can start off with, like or equipment or whatever. Like this is like just dedicated for this mode. It seems neat, and I want to try it out once it comes out. I think it comes out next week.
All right, Tim. I just looked at the list of games that I played a lot of in 2022, and none of them came out in 2022. So I think
Huh?
if we're going to give an award to the 2022 Garage Lore Game of the Year, we can decide it right here, right now. I of what we discussed, I would give it to Vampire Survivors. But that being
Okay.
said, there's a lot of games on this list that I did not play. So, Tim, what does your vote go to?
Um, Probably Elden Ring.
Oh, watch out, there's a rock.
Yeah, I see it. I noticed it after.
I will concede Elden Ring to you because again, I have not played. I play games from like 15 years ago, so I think you're the
Yeah.
better
I was
you're the
surprised
better source
by
of truth.
2022, like having, especially since like the start of the pandemic in 2020, like a lot of stuff were, a lot of games were being delayed. So like, I didn't expect much to come from 2022, and I mean, there weren't a ton in terms of like AAA stuff, but there was a lot of actually good stuff coming out in general in 2022. There were a lot of some stuff were surprises, some were surprises, but there's still a lot of good stuff otherwise.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. The Garage Lord 2022 Game of the Year. Say it with me, everyone. Genshin Impact. Let's go, boys. No, I'm just kidding.
Sonic Frontier. Wait,
Sonic Frontiers. Well, on that note, I can talk about if we're I'm fine with giving Elden Ring Game of the Year. I have not played it, but I know that I think other outlets have given it Game of the Year, so I have no qualms with it giving it its flowers. But I played a game I played a lot of this game last year. I don't know if you heard of it, Tim. Like Dark
no,
Souls. I don't know if you've
never
heard
heard of
of
it.
Dark Souls. Never heard of it? Oh man. What can I say about Dark Souls that has not been captured on stream? I will say that, again, I feel the same way about Dark Souls as I do Mario Sunshine. But I will say that I am captivated by the way that world, just that map, folds onto itself,
Yeah, I think
where
that's what sold me on it, especially.
like you feel like you're so far into the game, and you go down this elevator, and you're like, "Hey man, here's the Firelink Shrine." Like, what?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? We're back here, and there's this sense of like relief and like also a sense of like how many more layers of this are there? And I think it blew my mind thinking about how Blighttown is like directly underneath the Firelink Shrine.
yeah,
And just and hey, I have my grievances with some bosses, but I think there's some
yeah,
bosses in that game that are also a lot of fun too.
yeah.
I think
I think with Elden Ring has definitely improved on that, and actually other like Dark Souls 2 and 3 improved on that. Like they had a lot better boss fights and stuff.
I think I might have mentioned this on stream, or maybe we were chatting a bit. I One of my biggest grievances is the save points being so far from a
Yeah,
boss fight, where it's like Ornstein and Smo taking like 70, 80 attempts. That's fine. I've done that in Castlevania games, 70, 80 attempts to beat a boss. It's the walk back. It's the
yeah,
walk back that was like neither bonfire was a graceful walk back. But otherwise, like I'm fine with committing time to figuring out patterns and all that. What else did I want to say? The 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 variety of weapons where it feels like I, got really good with the big Z weapon, but it amazes me to see people using like doing pyromancy builds and all that. And
yeah.
like the idea of this game being like you might play through this game and not discover 60% of it, and the game will never go out of its way to tell you that.
Yep. Like there's
You
multiple areas where it's just like you can completely pass them if you without knowing about them.
right? I think we did our entire like on stream. We never once went through Valley of the Drakes,
Yeah.
and I on my personal playthrough, I'm like, what is this area? And it's like imagine my surprise where it's like I go through the Valley of the Drakes, and it's like, oh
Jeff,
snap,
we
dude.
got some leeches.
Oh boy. Well, okay, here we go. My chance to shine here.
Oh no, we got too many.
Oh no, the wood arrows only do so much. Hold on. There's more spawning in! There's so many spawning in!
How did I even... Oh, no.
Am I out of arrows? Why is he not...
I realized the mistake. It's too late. Are you out of arrows? Or are you out of stamina?
No, I'm not. It's just he's being weird about aiming. What is going on? It's like he doesn't want to aim.
You might be out of stamina?
I am. That's it. 100%.
I may have gone too far north this time. But that's fine. We'll hopefully wrap around and go south.
Leave us alone. We pay our taxes. I'm trying to fight him off, Tim. That's one leech down.
I think there's just one more.
He's running
turn
away.
around?
Go on,
Good.
get.
Alright.
Oh boy.
I think we're good.
Here I am trying to go talk about Dark Souls. For
Your
one time
experience,
I'm
you
trying to
know.
be complimentary about Dark Souls. We gotta get got by leeches.
Typical Dark Souls.
Typical Dark Souls. Yeah, feel free to interrupt me. How's the raft doing on health?
About 2/3.
Okay. Whoa, are we getting got?
Just hit a rock or so. I don't know, a wave. Nothing. I don't know. Yeah, as you were mentioning, like just the weapon stuff. Like I think that's part of what gave me a ton of replayability just for that game. It was just like anytime I'd go in, I would start a run. I would just go for a different weapon or a different type of weapon, and it just kind of changed up at least a little bit in the gameplay. Even
me
if
tell
like, I'm
you-
still doing a lot of the same bosses and stuff.
Let me tell you, I don't want to be too complimentary about Dark Souls. Make you think that I want to play all the other, all the other dive into Dark Souls 2 or anything like that. But Dark Souls does a very beautiful thing that I wish more games did. It becomes a video game immediately. There is no like, oh, first time user experience,
Oh, yeah.
new player experience. Let's teach you how to use the analog stick to move over here, and
You don't need to
you know,
spend 2 streams in Traverse Town.
Oh yeah, no.
Or is it
Let's
Twilight
know-
Town? I forget. But yeah,
Pick up these orbs, no, but like it becomes a video game immediately.
yeah.
There's a lot of games that focus on like, I understand why video games do it, right? Especially ones that monetize through in-game purchases and all that. It's about user retention and all. I understand why a lot of modern games do it. Dark Souls, you watch the opening cutscene, and it's like, all right, go.
Yeah.
You're officially playing a game. Go. I love that. I love that.
It came out like at the perfect time because like that was in the era of Nintendo doing like super long cutscenes or not long cutscenes but long tutorial segments and everything. So like that was commonplace at that point. And not just Nintendo, but like everyone was doing it. So like it was like a nice change of pace.
I feel like I have more to say about Dark Souls. The randomizer we've been doing has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And again, like I think I mentioned it to you, like I realized after the fact of us streaming it that I actually do own the game on 360. And hoo boy, going through Lost Izalith, going through Blighttown on 360,
Yeah.
made me appreciate the remastered version a lot more.
When I first played the game, I think I got to Undeadburg, gave up on it, came back like several months later, and then just continued playing it. And then I think my first attempt against Ornstein and Smo took probably like 10 hours.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you have to use a summon?
I don't remember if I did or not. I might have even used Solaire too, and that was still like rough. Because like, at that time, it was just like the only action games I was used to were like anything where it's just you just spam a button to attack, and you weren't managing stamina in games or anything at that point. So it was
Oh,
like I
something.
was not familiar with that concept really, or at least
I think part of the
muscle
appeal
memory
for
of that.
me with Dark Souls is that it's the perfect, if you have a QA brain, this is a game that's gonna capture you because it's like you learn from every death, is what I saw people discussing.
Yeah,
Every death has value because you learn something from it, whether it's getting got by a mimic, whether Ornstein and Smo do an attack that you didn't previously see. Every death is a learning experience. I saw some people like, I think I ended the stream with like 341 overall deaths. It's like I saw some people flexing that they finished it in less than 30 deaths. I'm like, you guys are liars, man.
for the first playthroughs,
Yeah,
and they've never played
bunch
any
of
other
liars
game
on the
like that.
Reddit, man.
Yeah, I
I
can see
guess
that for
I
someone
can
who's
I
had
can
experience with other games like it.
I can imagine it if you're someone who's like, oh hey, Firelink Shrine, let me go ahead and grind here,
Yeah,
X amount of hours,
yeah, you
or you
did
know, you
like no
get.
grinding, so
Yeah, I was very much like, I'm here for the content. I'm,
yeah,
I'll run past dudes. If I could take back that first time stream, I would have probably committed some time to grinding, especially with some of those enemies that you pointed out were good for
yeah.
grinding.
And
I
probably
think a,
like
a point of
picking
pride
up
for me,
probably picking up that shield early too.
I'm still salty about this.
Yeah,
The grass crest shield. Hold on, we're gonna have the Festivus airing of grievances right now. The grass crest shield and Havel's ring should have both been high pry, right around the Moonlight Butterfly episode. Otherwise, I was fine with the
yeah,
progression everywhere else. But yeah, like I think you guided me to having plus 10 Big Z at Ornstein and Snow, right?
yeah,
That was the right play. Yeah, plus 10 Big Z. But otherwise, yeah, I would have benefited from having the full Havel set as well as the Grass Crest Shield. But and the stamina regeneration wasn't like
it wouldn't have
it's
been like a big game
nice.
changer or anything.
Right. What's the plan here? You want to land here and set up the portal immediately?
Let's build a small house or something first. And there's my other raft. It looks like.
I'm thinking set up the portal immediately so we can go back, get resources, and then start building the house.
Sure, that's fine. You had the Startling core, right?
Oh no! Yeah, no, I got the Starlink core.
We did our pre-flight check, Jeff.
Pre-flight checks, dude.
Oh no! Oh hey, we have a house right there.
Did we?
To the right. I don't know if it's
No, I'm probably getting some like it's a LOD thing for me, but whatever.
yeah. It's far enough that it's like it shouldn't be a problem.
I guess for
'Cause
me also first. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I hadn't run into many enemies out here. It was just kind of when I walked into like a tar pit or something weird.
I guess we can go ahead and focus on this now that we're closing up the. Good discussion though.
Oh,
What?
it's a goblin.
Oh, I don't
He's
have.
going
I
after
just.
a raft.
I only have arrows.
Oh
Oh boy.
no!
Maybe let's not. You boys wanted this?
There's a black slimes too. I don't know what those are about.
Yeah, try. Let's find a good spot.
I mean, this is the plains, so
I do have a stone axe to fend them off with. I just don't want to get got without getting the portal up.
yeah. I think here's probably fine. I don't see anyone immediately here. Let's just, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some bouncing slimes.
Here, hold on, let me bring up the your feed.
Yeah, that
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
dark dirt area, I think right here is fine.
Here, let me hand you the swordling cores.
I just want to double check. Nothing immediately around here. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, here you go. Swordling cores. Right.
Let's build a bench. I forgot that was a thing I needed to do.
You need wood? I got a 12 stack on me.
Alright, I see a goblin. Alright. We'll place that there. I've
Does
got
it
some wood.
activate? There we go.
There we go.
Let me give you my wood if you're going to start building right now. And then while you're doing that, I'll look for more.
Is that... Oh, that's Black Forest. Okay.
Actually, if the portal's set up, let me run to the base and get you the wood.
Yeah.
Oh man, this feels so good just to walk through a thing and be all the way back here.
Yeah. Um...
I've got core wood. Does that help you? I don't think so, right?
Not for what I'm just gonna build a basic house thing.
All right, let me get my armor and stuff so that I can protect you if...
Yeah, there we go. What? Jeff, I got a
Go.
goblin coming at me.
I'm coming. Hold on.
Chosen one.
I'm coming. It takes so long for my guy to put on his ish.
That's fine. I can just... He's just throwing spears at me, and I can just avoid him.
Oh, here I am. I'm here.
Oh,
Did I not damage him?
that's... You hit him. It didn't seem like it much.
That's not that's not promising. That's not promising. At least I can go pick my stuff back up.
Yeah. I think we might need some iron stuff.
I think that's the game's way of saying, nah, fam, you ain't supposed to be here yet. You
I'm
doing
just
the,
gonna make a run. See what else is out there.
you trying to lure him away from the portal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gives me a chance to pick up my stuff also.
Because I see a black forest, which could be fine if we want to relocate the portal. What is this? He's still following me. Let me read you.
I need to get him away from you so you can actually.
Oh, he's far enough away.
I want you to have a chance to build though over here.
Yeah, I know. But like, if I can set up a new place instead. Oh no!
I
Is
mean,
that a
the
different
portal.
goblin?
The thing is, the portal is over here, and I would want the portal to be protected. Whoa, these guys are doing a lot of damage.
What?
A mosquito just got me. Bro, I don't think we're supposed to be here yet, Tim. I don't think we're supposed to be here.
I'm going to the Black Forest, Jeff. I'll let the great. There we go. I'll let the Grey Dwarves fight them. I think I lost him.
They should leave our portal alone as long as we're not there to like. The portal won't aggro them
Maybe?
if we're not there to see it happen, right?
Maybe. If I find meadows, I'm definitely going to relocate the portal. Because meadows is at least going to be calm. At least I don't have anything that I care if I lose. So,
Yeah, fair enough. You're on a discovery. You're on a recon.
hopefully I find a good place to set up a better camp. Yeah, I think we might need iron equipment to deal with some of these guys. Because we didn't exactly set up any like any like actual, we didn't get any actual equipment or anything.
Yeah,
This
we
is a
we
mound.
wanted to. We didn't want to go all the way out there with iron equipment just to lose it.
Yeah. But now that I think we're on the same landmass. This looks like a mountain next to me. Which I'm going to avoid. Maybe not.
You all right?
No, it's just water. All right. Where does this come in? Does this wrap around? If this wraps around, maybe we could have just gone north.
You
Of
think so?
no, I mean like where we dropped off, we might have gone. Maybe we could have gone a little north and then
Oh,
west,
okay.
like along here, maybe.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what I'm looking for right now. See if that's the case. Seems like it.
Is it raining out by you also? Looks like.
No, it's just foggy. Are you at the base or something?
Yeah, I'm trying to gather wood to. If you find your way back to that portal, I'll hopefully have wood for you. But just, I don't want to aggro enemies being over there, so you tell me if that's where you're at.
I think we could just go north. Oh, hey, there's a guy. Of course, I run out of stamina. Yeah, it's starting to rain. Oh, jeez. I thought that was a rock. I just see a thing just start moving. Sure could use some stamina. Oh, this is like a river or something.
Oh, I see where you're at. You're thinking it does like the letter C. Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh no, I got more guys.
You're not holding anything spicy, are you? In terms of your
No,
inventory? Okay.
no, it's just all basic stuff. Mosquito. Yeah, that. I'm getting warmer. I don't think that's true.
Did you get got?
Yeah.
Do you want to try to build around that? I have wood. Well, hold on. You are a faster builder than I am, so if we're going to make a play at finishing that portal, you want to go to bed first? Let's clear out this rain and these jabronis.
Yeah.
Or I'm at the
Where
other
are you
base,
at?
but I'm at the
Oh.
other base, but I'll go ahead and sleep here.
Can't
Yeah,
sleep when
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wet.
Still raining? All right, let me meet you at the summer residence. I have a 28 stack of wood. Is that enough to work with, or do you need more?
Um, I wouldn't mind more.
All right. Let me give you this 28 stack.
I don't have any tools or anything.
Do you need a hammer?
Any hammer?
Here you go. You want a weapon?
Doesn't matter.
All right, I'll hold on to mine then.
Yeah,
You're gonna be in dangerous territory.
I gotta go back. Wait, I didn't mean to hit that, but that's fine.
There you go. I gave you the Elder's power also.
Thanks.
I
Is
forgot
that
which one
the?
does what.
All right, let's see if anyone's here. I might relocate.
I say finish. My stance is finish this base, and then if we feel like the portal's not safe here, let's just build a separate portal altogether.
All
You
right.
know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? Because my fear is that you try to relocate that portal and you just get caught. Whereas,
Yeah.
if you get in trouble while you're doing this right here, I can try to aggro an enemy. Okay, you call out if you're in trouble, but I'm gonna try to get more wood for you.
I don't know if this is good enough. Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably big enough. This is nothing fancy. I'm out.
They're just out? Damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's quick. Well, Jeff, is there any? If you want to continue with our list?
Uh, I'm kind of locked into finishing this. Like this has my utmost attention right now. Like I'm super worried about this portal getting got. So I'm locked in right now.
Oh, that's actually not far.
What is
Now
it?
that I see it,
Own
yeah,
mass?
it's where I left. I mean, it's just across a little bit of water, so I maybe building a little base in the. You know, what? I'm gonna drop off what I've got in this summer resident, and then I'm gonna do more exploration. I'm gonna go south this time.
Oh, I got more wood for you. Let me meet you at the summer residence real quick.
I'm
I'll
right
let you
here.
decide.
I'm at home
Oh,
base. Yeah, I could do that too. That's fine. If I got something to do, I can do it. Fighting some pigs or something?
yeah, there was a boar that went for me. Hey, come here. There you go.
Off I go. Hopefully I can place a thing there.
Would the portal be in? Well, I guess.
I have it outside right now.
I guess our other portal isn't quite protected either, and it's been fine.
Yeah. Well, it's also the meadows, so it's a little different. I don't know. How did I do this?
I don't know.
Okay.
Are you using your other thing for reference?
Yeah. Wait, did I just... Oh. Why'd I do that? That's so weird. Why'd I do that? I could have just done that at a single wall. Whatever.
There you go. Hey, there you go.
Oh, thank you. Is this too tall? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Hmm. Well, it looks like you're... It's looking like a house. What was it to make a mattress? Or a bed?
I think it's just wood.
Actually, it might be an oopsie to ever have a save point set there until we we spread out a bit more in that area.
Yeah, probably. Let me place it. There we go.
Gonna I've avoided most spoilers for this game, but I'm gonna make a decision to see, do enemies attack portals?
Oh, I don't know.
Valheim. One of the first things that comes up on Google.
Well,
The quick answer is that unfortunately mobs will attack portals.
So should I put a bed here?
There's no harm in doing so, yeah. Just, there might be an instance where we need to just rest there, but I would generally err toward like, let's be at the, one of the other bases.
That's fine. This is kind of like when we need to come out here.
Starred monsters will absolutely destroy your portal.
What monsters?
Starred monsters?
Oh, okay. So like the normies. Normies won't, but the ones that are stronger versions, whatever. I don't need 50
Oh,
stones.
interesting. Tip. Just keep one portal in your main base, then when you want to travel, rename that tag to whatever
Oh,
portals you have around the world. Interesting. Oh, but then if you're playing solo, that works, but multiplayer, not quite wise. Okay.
what? What do you mean? Like, what is
Because
it?
you might travel and rename the portal, but you might leave me stuck somewhere else by that
Oh,
logic.
so I'm just portal hopping, essentially.
Yeah, you're renaming the tag based on what portal you want to go to, which is fine for single player.
Oh,
But
so as
then
you're
like you
going further and further out.
yeah.
That makes sense.
You need more wood or is the thing pretty much set up now?
I think I'm set.
After this info though, I think we should prioritize covering the portals in the next episode.
I gotta move. I'm gonna move this inside. All right, I got a little thing going, little fireplace and
Hey,
everything.
look at that.
Oh, there's a mosquito
Oh no.
where that goblin was last time.
Should we leave? What's the play here?
It's not
I want
coming
them
near
to...
us. Oh. I was zooming out of the mini map and I'm like, how do I zoom in?
Good.
Just keep zooming. Didn't do it.
I say let's teleport back to the main base and I'll outro us out.
Sure.
Let me finish cooking this meat though.
I'll
I
let
want it to
you
be the one
close
who
up the
did the
door.
inaugural. Yep. Yeah, I think it's high pride to cover these portals next episode. At least the ones not at base.
Yeah.
Here, I'll meet you downstairs. We'll emote
At the
out
Christmas tree.
at the Christmas tree. What was it to sit down?
X?
Well, friends, if you are watching this on YouTube, please be sure to hit like and subscribe. And we hope you enjoyed our discussion of 2022 Game of the Year. There's more we didn't even get to just yet, but we got locked into doing some
Yeah.
stuff in the world of Valheim. But join us on Twitch one of these days where we play a variety of games just like this one. And if you did join us on Twitch, we hope you have an excellent evening, and we will catch you guys on the next stream, where I believe we are scheduled for Dead or Alive Extreme Beach
Yep.
Volleyball or something similar. Bye, friends. Bye, bye,
Enjoy your
bye.
gaming.
Enjoy your gaming.
Pressing that button stood me up.